good morning.
Good
Uh,
morning.
I'm very happy to welcome film producer Larry Meistrich. He's the co-founder and CEO of Red Coral Universe, besides he's producing two very renowned films. Good morning, sir. How is everything?
Good morning. Buenos dias.
Muchas gracias. First, I want to ask you about your early start. How did you venture into the film industry? At what challenges did you make? Did you face when you get started?
Well, I didn't have any connections when I first started.
Mm-hmm,
Um, so I came through the crew path. I started working as a production assistant and worked my way up through assistant directing and gripping and line producing. I've actually worked on every crew category except hair and makeup on a film set. So I physically know how to make movies. And I was fortunate enough coming up to work a lot of days in a
mm-hmm,
row. I
mm-hmm.
worked every day for 3 years except for 9 days. So I
Yes.
got I got experience very quickly.
Mm-hmm,
Um, and the challenges back then, which is a different time than now, were sort of navigating the path to getting where you ultimately wanted to go, which was to produce and be able to raise money and make my own content as opposed to work on other people's.
mm-hmm.
I had to learn that from the ground up.
Yes. I remember because when every time we mention your name, we mention Sling Blade.
Hmm.
And I want to ask you, how did you land on this project? I remember very well it was a short film before it was produced as a feature film. I saw the short version, found it on YouTube, by the way. And tell me about the production nowadays. I don't. I think it was released by Miramax, if I remember well.
Right. So I saw the short too, um,
Mm-hmm.
and contacted Billy Bob Thornton after seeing the short and
Mm-hmm.
seeing if he was interested in adapting it into a feature that
Yes.
he could direct, and he was interested. So
Mm-hmm.
Billy wrote it, and we funded it, um, and we sold it after it was finished to Miramax.
Mm-hmm. At the time, what were the difficulties to produce a film like that? And I want to mention that all the characters, all the actors as well, were excellent in their performance. Beside Billy Bob Thornton, I remember, I think it was one of the last, if not the last film, starring John Ritter, if I might remember well.
Yep, John Ritter was great, and Billy was in a sitcom with him prior to
Yes.
Sling Blade called Shooting Shade.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
he knew John's work really well, but it was really well cast. We spent a lot of time on the casting. We saw thousands of kids to find the Lucas Black part. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you know, there was a lot of prep on that film.
Mm-hmm.
And frankly, the hardest part was raising the money, which
Mm-hmm.
I didn't actually end up doing. I ended up putting a lot of that film on my credit cards.
Yes, yes.
Uh,
So tell me, before we speak about Red Coral Universe, I want you to tell me, how did you witness the change in the film industry from your start, as a crew member working on everything, becoming a film producer,
Sorry, you kind of cut out there a little bit. Hello?
Until now, how do you see the
I don't
industry
know if you
change
can
so
hear me,
much?
but your sound is cutting out. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
That
I think
your
there was a
sound cut
net.
out for that
Yeah.
last
I
question.
think you're back, sir. Yeah. Hmm.
So can you repeat the question? Hello?
Yes, you're back, sir. Yeah. Yes, you are on. Yes. Hello. Hello.
Hello?
Hello. Yes.
Okay, I think you're back now.
Yes, I'm back. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yes,
didn't
sir.
hear that
I was
last.
asking you about the industry change. How do you see the industry change from the days of Sling Blade until now? Film
Oh,
production.
it's changed a tremendous amount. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
the technology has dramatically changed from film to digital. Same thing in the editorial
Mm-hmm.
process from film to digital,
Mm-hmm.
which gives you a lot more choices, but also makes you a lot less disciplined, I think.
Mm-hmm.
When you're shooting with film and you have 10 minutes to get takes, it makes you think a lot more
Mm-hmm.
about what you're going to shoot than just shooting
Mm-hmm.
everything, figuring out in
Mm-hmm.
post.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Financing is super different. I think the biggest change, frankly, is COVID. You know,
Mm-hmm.
COVID sort of eliminated the box office star because everything used to be very triggered to theatrical releases, and
Mm-hmm.
now it's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of the Wild West right now. Um,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
so I think my path up doesn't exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It was when I was starting out, you would go make an independent film and raise the money yourself, and you could go to a festival like Sundance or Cannes or New York or Toronto and get discovered, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but just to give you an idea, my first film was a film called Laws of Gravity, and when we submitted that film to Sundance, I think there was 200 submissions.
Yes.
I think last year there was 14,000 submissions. So there's pros and cons to that. Everybody thinks they can make a movie, with their
Yes.
phone or whatever. And I think that sort of muddies the water a little bit from people who actually learned how to tell a story
Mm-hmm.
visually. It is a craft and an art form. And then just because you have the technology doesn't mean you know how to use it.
Mm-hmm. Sir, when I was like 30 years ago in Egypt, I work in American film distribution in the seven major studios. We were the local distributors of the big seven studios at that time. And we used to read a light variety and follow the box office
Hmm.
and follow the strategies of releasing a film like Sling Blade independently. You try to put it in some a few number of theaters, then you expand it when you get some buzz, and you can get a very good revenue, with the strategy at that time. Okay.
Right.
But
Platform.
I want to ask you right now, if you want to produce a film like Sling Blade or an independent films from your filmography, do you think it would have a chance in the box office, or will you go to a big network and release it straight to a network? Because right now, I think as well, Blu-ray and DVD are obsolete right now.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's a tough question. I
Mm-hmm.
think it would have an uphill battle in the
Mm-hmm.
box office,
Mm-hmm.
which is a shame because I'm a supporter and believer in the box office. Um, but Sling Blade's on our platform,
Mm-hmm.
so it does extremely well there.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
so I know people watch it.
Of
And
course.
there's a level of convenience now where people can watch anytime, anywhere, on their television, on their phone, on their computer, and I think the public is adopting that behavior more and
Hmm.
more. I
Hmm.
think with COVID, a lot of people upgraded their home, screens and theater systems, and um, unless it's just a big effects, big sound-driven film, um, it's hard to get people out of their house.
Hmm. I was in Fox when Titanic was released. We released it in Egypt. And what happened with Titanic that I remember very well. Its box office was increasing every week, not decreasing like it usually do. You
Yeah.
know. And yesterday as well, I was reading the news about the recent Horizon, the film directed and starring by Kevin Costner, and it was acquired as well by Netflix. Huh? And it is a big production, and he wants to make three sequels to it as well. And I want to ask you this question as well. Do you think a movie right now produced with a 200 plus budget can make it at the cinemas, or later on can make it if it is distributed on networks? If we like forecast it's gaining in 5 or 10 years.
I think that's a lot of money to spend on a movie.
Yes, right
Um,
now, especially with no theatrical releases like before as well. Mm-hmm.
yeah, well, the thing with the paid streaming services like the Netflixes, and it doesn't really matter to them how it does, what it
Mm-hmm.
costs, right? Because they
Mm-hmm.
they have a fixed budget based on their subscriber base, not based on
Yes.
what people watch.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, um, it's really kind of internal accounting as they want to
Mm-hmm.
decide whether it made money or not.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they're making those types of films to keep their subscriber base.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So it's not judged the same as a box office success would be.
Yes.
Um, but box office success is just again, it's just hard now. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I'm not surprised that Costner films not
Mm-hmm.
gonna be successful theatrically.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Like you mentioned yourself, you used to have a buzz in Sundance, in Cannes, in Toronto, and he already had a very good reception in the last Cannes Festival as I was watching the news. But do you think such films can recoup their costs, one way or the other?
It depends on you know sure, they can. It really
Mm-hmm.
depends on how they've structured the financing, right?
Yes.
So if
Mm-hmm.
they've covered themselves before they made it,
Mm-hmm.
uh, um, sure.
Sure.
Um, but the streamers and YouTube, um, they're not really in the business of recouping filmmakers.
Yes.
They're in
Mm-hmm.
the business of recouping themselves, you know.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
Um, we're trying to affect that with what we're doing with Red Coral. So
Yes.
yeah, we could help them make it back. Um,
Yes.
but it really depends on their willingness to market, their willingness to participate,
Mm-hmm.
um, the quality of the film. You know, people
Yes.
have kind of lost sight with all the streaming conversations that the quality of the film still matters. People don't like to watch
Yes.
bad content.
Yes.
And they
And
won't
speak.
watch bad content, they'll just change the channel as opposed to
Mhm.
not go to the theater.
Yes. And right now, I would like to ask about Red Coral. What motivated you to launch it? And what sets it apart from other platform? I think in the United States, you have lot of competition with big ones and small ones as well.
Um, well, I'm gonna answer the second question first.
Mm-hmm.
What sets us apart is a couple of things. One, we consider ourselves to be artist first. It's kind of the
Sure.
phrase we're using. And we're one of the few people in the space that are not technology people.
Mhm,
We're not coders. We actually make content and have
mhm,
done that our whole lives. And I think the coding community doesn't really understand that process or have a lot of respect for it. Um, so, what we mean by artist first is that we feel that the artist and creator of the content should get the lion's share of the revenue that's generated from people watching it. So, as opposed to a YouTube who feels that the algorithm is worth 99.5% of the money, we
mhm,
feel that the artist is worth 70% of the money, 80% of the
mhm,
money.
mhm,
So all of the artists on our platform have a better deal than the platform.
mhm,
It's monetized from the first play through programmatic advertising. So, if people watch, it's lucrative. If people don't, it's not. So you're able to sort of have the tools to market with us yourself and make progress with your film. We've also broadly defined what artists are. So we're not just doing film and television, which we are definitely doing, but we're also doing short films, documentaries, sports, rap battles, music videos, live concerts,
mhm.
all kinds of visual arts. And so far we're seeing people really respond to that. Um,
Mhm.
and obviously the artists like it because it's just a better deal and it's more respectful for what they're doing. And
Yes.
we feel that the artists kind of have to band together now as AI is coming to
Yes.
replace us, and kind of take the power back from the technology people who don't, again,
Mhm,
respect us the way they should.
mhm. So, before we jump, can you see the screen? Here we have a viewer watching right now.
Okay.
I'm an independent filmmaker. How do I submit my work to Red Coral?
Well, I'm if I type in this, does people see it on the screen?
No,
Okay.
no. Yeah, here the
So,
viewers can post the comment. Yes,
okay. So you can go to info at Red Coral Universe. Our president of acquisitions is named Fisnik,
yes.
Fisnik, Bizati, Bizati, and just send us an email, and Fisnik will respond and contact you about watching your work. We do curate the platform, so we want good content. So we watch everything. We've spoken to every filmmaker on there. We're not aggregating. So if you respond to us, we will definitely respond back and watch whatever you've made.
Hmm. Yes, and right
Locally,
now,
so we actually
mhm,
just added a world cinema section.
yes, international. Hmm.
We're looking for films in every language, from every country. So if
Hmm.
we're out there listening who are not American, that's totally fine. Um,
Yes,
we'd still
from
look
the
for.
same viewer, he's asking about is Red Coral available globally,
Look at
or
that.
which? How can we
It
see it?
is.
Is it
So
available on Apple and Google Store right now?
yes, so we're
Yes,
available on Roku,
on Roku in the United States. Hmm.
Chromecast, Apple TV,
Hmm.
um, in Samsung smart TVs, Roku smart TVs. Um, we're adding LG, Vizio, and Hisense smart TVs. It's
Hmm.
also available on all apps, both Android and iOS, and there's also a web version.
Great. Yes, and speaking of film financing right now, the recent press release I got about Corvid Partners
Hmm.
and your collaboration with them in the innovation of film financing. I think the viewers as well would be very interested to hear the details about that.
Sure. So we've partnered with a guy named Chris Oganeski, who is one of the top illiquid asset traders in the world,
Mm-hmm.
founded Corvid, and their specialty is valuating hard to valuate things.
Mhm.
So one of the things we're working on with them is to take people's analytics from streaming, the amount of minutes watched, how many people watch to completion, how many people watch period, how many people like, comment, and turn that in a way to finance films by pre-selling views effectively to advertisers.
Mhm.
Um, so we've effectively now done that.
Mhm.
It's working. As far as I know, we're the only ones doing that. Um, and it's really kind of a nice partnership with sort of a Wall Street business and a content business.
Mm. Right now, sir, Red Coral and Corvette, how can they help filmmakers? At what stage do they, start to consider movies when they still scripts or already finished and looking for distribution? What are the stages right now with our, or on every stage?
Yep, we're always looking for good stuff. Obviously, finished is easiest,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but if somebody has elements put together um, for something that they've developed, we're not going to actively develop as far as buying scripts and things like that. But if people
Mhm,
come with content that's ready to be made,
mhm,
we'll definitely look at that. And also to answer the other question, we also have another email. It's acquisitions@redcoral.com if
mhm,
people want to
mhm.
submit a finished film.
Very good. And for the artists right now, what are the revenue model you are using for the creator from ad revenues?
Straight splits. Um, Splits range from 50-50 to 80-20. It's really simple. There's no costs for artists to be on the platform. There's also no cost for consumers to watch the platform. Um, there's no data transfer. There's no overhead. It's a straight true gross split. It's very simple.
And right now, do you have any upcoming projects, upcoming features for Red Coral we can expect?
Oh yeah, every day there's new content that goes up. So people should
Mm-hmm,
just sign up and look in the section that they're interested in. So um, there's in all categories just really cool stuff coming.
mm-hmm. Yes. And right now, regarding accessibility, can people watch movies in several subtitling languages or several audio languages right now? I mean, it's accessible around the world, right?
Hmm.
Hmm. So this option is available, and there is no priority for American filmmakers. I mean, anybody can contact you.
Anybody can contact us. But,
Hmm.
we're actively trying to build our world cinema
Yes.
sections. We would love
Hmm.
to hear from non-American filmmakers.
Hmm.
Um, you know, good film is made everywhere.
For sure. Yes. Yes. And about yourself as a producer, are you working on new projects yourself?
I am. We're working on a project called Beats and Bars,
Hmm.
which is sort of a mix between American Idol and Hard Knocks, where we're pairing um, producers with artists in the music industry and
Hmm.
actually showing the process of how hard it is to make a successful album.
Hmm.
Um, where there's going to be a contest with 10 teams of two where they all live together and work together. It's sort of the antithesis of other shows like that. We don't want them to fight. We're not trying to do all that. There's no eliminations, but there is a winner. We
Hmm.
bring in mentors each week to help them get better at their art form, and it's really an homage to hip hop and
Yes.
um, and the producing as well as writing parts of hip hop, not just the performance part. So we have really good engineers, we have really good lyricists to help them, and then there'll be a winner, and
Yes.
that's
You
probably next.
Sure. Speaking of hip hop, the latest press release I saw about Red Coral that it's not only about movies or television shows, but you also produce podcasts as well, right?
Hmm.
So if somebody would like to pitch an idea for a podcast, he can as well.
Absolutely.
Hmm. Very good, sir. Mr. Larry, I want to thank you very much for coming to the live. I wish you all the best
Well,
for
thank you for having
your
me. Really
your
appreciate it.
wish you really all the best for Red Coral and for your work as a film producer and film financiers. And I hope as well to have you again if you have a new initiative to announce.
Okay. Yeah, we'd love to.
Yes, yes. Thank you, sir. I will send you an email after the show as well with the link, and so if you like to share it on Red Collar Media as well.
Okay, that'd be great.
Thank you, sir. Enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.